Well, greetings, everybody. Just going to have a quick chat today about how I handled a curveball that was thrown at me 10 years ago today. Having been on holidays in the UK for 9 weeks, my late partner and I were heading home via Singapore back to Australia. And interestingly enough, he wanted to stop over in Singapore and just check out a few things. So we were doing that. You know, we'd stopped at Hong Kong on the way over. So Singapore was on our way home. So we landed in Singapore. So the next morning we get up and we're going to do a few things. We're going to go and have a look at the sites, check out what's around and do that. So we had been to a market and we were going to Orchard Street to have lunch. So we went to Orchard Street, we got a bus to Orchard Street and we hopped on, went and had lunch. Then when we come out, we hopped on a hop-on, hop-off bus. And we thought we would go to the Orchid Gardens in Singapore. Beautiful place. But in a split second, we didn't get there. Because as we got on the bus, I got on first and made my way upstairs. Ronnie got on after me and he was still coming up the stairs and I was halfway along the bus when all of a sudden the driver braked very sharply, very suddenly. And I was tossed about 12 feet up the centre of the bus, landed on my right shoulder. Interesting way to end a holiday. Anyway, I'm a great believer in you get what you say, what you speak. So before we left to go on holidays, I said to him, I was having a few issues with a couple of clients. And I said to him, when I come back, things will change. Okay, sitting on the bus, hanging on to my shoulder, like hanging on, going, do you know what? I think things have changed. And I think you better suck it up, princess, because this is what you asked for. So after struggling down the steps of the bus to get into an ambulance to go to hospital, I was then diagnosed with a broken shoulder, or the broken bone. Wasn't actually diagnosed as my shoulder. So we go back to the hotel after they discharged me. The guys from the bus company were really good. They looked after us and took us where we needed to go. Got back to the hotel and the hotel gave us a room that we could stay in until our flight that night. So we did that, got back to Brisbane, went and seen a doctor and found out that my shoulder had been shattered, not just broken, it was shattered. So in the next 5 years, I had 6 surgeries because 18 months in, it developed an infection. And that infection was treated with antibiotics, it was treated with PICC lines, it was treated with lots of different things. So after the 6th surgery, I got the clearance that there was no more infection in that shoulder. But in the meantime, I had lost my business. I remember coming home, and because it was the 6th of July, it was tax time in Australia. And I had clients who needed to get their payment summaries done. So I was in a hospital on the Friday, but we talked them into letting me home for the weekend and go back in Monday for the surgery on Tuesday. So that's all fine. So I had people rock up at home with their computers, plonk it on my dining room table, and I sat there nursing my shoulder, doing payment summaries so they could get them out, because there was no guarantee when I would be back to do that for them. So we did all that. I went in, had my surgery, and that began the journey. As I said, 18 months later, I developed a infection in the prothesis, which is pretty normal. It happens quite a lot. But just reflecting on my 10-year journey, be careful what you say, be careful what you wish for, because you could just get it. I learnt many, many years ago from a book called You Get What You Speak by Shad Helmstetter. And that's where I get this thing from. Be careful. Just be careful what you wish for. Very powerful in the law of attraction. So you can bring about lots of things, the good and the not quite so good. But I never look at it as it's happened to me. It's happened for me. So yes, my life is very different. I virtually have no use of my right shoulder. I can move my arm from my elbow to my hand, but I cannot raise my shoulder. So I'm reliant on people in my life to help me, very much so, with doing some daily chores, with getting things in and out the oven, hanging clothes on the line, sweeping, mopping, are all challenges because I don't have use of that shoulder. But life is good. I enjoy my life thoroughly. I enjoy where it's going. I have great people around me. I have the most magic tribe that comes into my life. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you who are there. And there's one special lady who was a great help when I first come home from hospital. And you know who you are. And you helped me through that first couple of weeks, and had to put up with Ronnie as well. You know, the first 8 weeks I came back, I was in a wheelchair because I'd cracked my pubic bone. And that's why I had trouble getting off the bus. And they couldn't understand why I was in so much pain. And they didn't pick it up in Singapore. It wasn't until I come back to Australia that I had proper x-rays done, and they picked it up. So this is my little story for the 6th of July, 2023, 10 years on. Pretty huge as far as I'm concerned. I managed to have a fairly great life with lots of benefits. Drop me a comment below if you've had something similar, or you push through something like an accident that you've had to work your way through. I was talking to a friend today, and she's struggling with having a car accident and her limitations now. We all have them, but it's always happening for you, not to you. Have an amazing day. Thank you.